Hello guys, how are you doing? Today I will show you how you can replace the front brake pads from a Honda CBR650R. I've ordered the genuine new brake pads from Honda. You can see the part number over here. It was about 55.5 euros a package, so 111 euros for the two packages. And we're going to replace them in this brake caliper and the one on the other side. So first we will remove those two bolts, size 14. Also on the other side we will remove those two bolts. Then we will unscrew those two bolts and remove the filler cap. So when we, because the old brake pads are a lot thinner than the new ones, we will push open the old brake pads, and so the brake fluid will rise because we will push it back into the line, and so the level also in the brake fluid reservoir will rise a little bit. So because of that we will open the filler cap over here. But first we will start with removing the two bolts over here. Size 14, and it is torqued with a torque setting of 45 Newton meters. So I've loosened the two bolts. We can take them out now. And now we can take the caliper away. But first we will open the filler cap of the brake fluid. Because of brake fluid is corrosive, we will do a little bit of paper around it. So if a little bit of .4 brake fluid will come to the paintwork, we will clean it directly with the paper. With a Phillips screwdriver, we will unscrew the two bolts. Be sure if you loosen the bolts, you will push very hard below, because otherwise you will damage the bolt. Now we can take away the filler cap and also the plastic inside. So you can see the level at this moment. So you can see a little bit of air over here. But now we will take away the brake caliper and push them open again. And then you will see that the level of the .4 brake fluid will rise. So we will remove the caliper. Now we will push back with a flathead screwdriver. We will push it between the brake pads and tilt it a little bit. like that, and now we have place enough to place the new thicker brake pads. So the genuine new brake pads, identically the same like the one in the calipers. They have also the heat shield. If you buy aftermarket brake pads, normally you have to build them over from the old blocks to the new ones, but the genuine ones has already that heat shield on it. So now we can take them out. Like that. First one is out. It's not completely worn. I'm too early. And also this one you can take out now. Like that. And now we will take some brake cleaner and clean everything up and place the new blocks back in. So that's clean enough. Now we can place the new pads back in. So that's the first one. And now the second one. You can see how thick they are. So now the new brake pads are in, and we can slide them over the brake disc and turn the bolts back in. For these bolts, Honda recommends to use new bolts every time, because there is a non-permanent locking kind of glue on the bolts, But if you don't have that, it's also possible that if you do some glue on the bolts, that you can reuse the bolts. I have done one time copper grease on the bolts, and that's entirely wrong. So you have to do a little bit of a kind of glue on the bolts, or use new bolts every time. So we will fasten the bolts now, and if you do so, you have to do it with a torque of 45 Newton meters. So now torque them 45 Newton meters. I will do it by hand, but normally 45 Newton meters. And that's the first front caliper we have replaced the new brake pads. So we will see on the level of the brake fluid, you can't see any air anymore, but I have to push the brake lever a few times because the brake pads aren't against the disc at this moment. So we will push the brake lever a few times. So now it's okay. You can see we haven't air in the glass over here. So the level has raised already, what's normal because the new blocks are thicker. So now we will do that on the other side. So I will measure out how thick the friction material of the new blocks is. So how thick are the new blocks? .6 millimeters. So we will do the same process, removing the two bolts over here, size 14, take the caliper out, take the old brake pads out, clean the entire brake caliper and place the new blocks in. Two identical bolts, and now we can take the brake caliper away. Like that. Now with the flathead screwdriver we will push the brake pads to the right one to the right and the left one to the left to place in the thicker new brake pads. You have to push them in entirely because otherwise it isn't possible to place in the new brake pads. Like that, and then we can push them out to the middle, take them out. Also for this one, push them to the middle and you can take them out. Then we will clean it and place the new blocks in. So we will use the brake cleaner again. Use the toothbrush. Like that, and then we can place the new blocks in. That's the first one. Now the second one. Like that. And now we can place them back onto the brake disc. Use new bolts or bolts with a kind of glue on it. And then we can see that the brake fluid level is raised a little bit more. But now we have to push to put the brake pads to the brake disc. And now we will place the filler cap back in. And also, because the bike was tilted a little bit, you can see a little bit of brake fluid over here, we will clean it with water. And then we're good to go. But be sure to push the brake lever, because otherwise you are going to drive and you haven't got any brakes. So now we will clean this a little bit. Also with water we will clean it, but that's how you replace the front brake pads of a Honda CBR650R. This one is from building year 2019, but also in 2023 they built these models, so you can do it the way I showed you. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.